Hello friends, welcome back to another exciting and inspiring episode of On Location. Currently I'm here in the beautiful city of Edmonton. So excited to be here and bring to you some interesting places, amazing and inspiring individuals. The show is brought to you with the generous support of TELUS STORYHIVE, and I'm very grateful to the fantastic folks here at Hotel Chateau Lacombe for allowing us to film here. Today joining me is someone who is behind an amazing festival here in the city of Edmonton, also known as the City of Festivals. Incredible. From vibrant music and incredible food to powerful cultural storytelling, CariWest has been bringing the spirit of Caribbean to Edmonton. I feel like I've been missing out, so I will certainly have to come back here just before my birthday. Today I'm joined by someone at the heart of it all to talk about the culture, community, and what makes CariWest so special. Thank you so much for coming out and joining us today. Looks like the weather cooperated.
It did. Thank you for that introduction. Oh my gosh, can you just come along with me like for the next few months?
With pleasure.
That was amazing.
My pleasure. So Samantha, Alexander, Sam, tell me, how long have you been involved with CariWest, and where does the passion, because the thing is, people get to come and enjoy the festival and not know it takes the full year to prep for it. I know that. I haven't been involved in festivals, but I have interviewed plenty of folks, and they're like, you know what, Zara, as we are here working today, I'm already thinking about next year. It takes so much effort.
Yes, all of that is true. To answer your question, I guess I was involved in the very, very first CariWest Festival, which was in 1984.
Wow.
Yeah, which was actually part of a larger festival called Klondike Days at the time. So that was my first experience with CariWest. This was in 1984. As a board member, though, I joined in the 2017 season as a director of large, and I've been here ever since.
Incredible. So for someone like me who has not experienced it, can you tell me what to expect? Because I was speaking off camera saying that I can see myself coming back to Edmonton. I've had like a very warm welcome pretty much from the get-go. As soon as I landed, hadn't even collected my luggage, and you know, opportunities are somehow coming together. So I can see myself coming back to Edmonton, and I want to know more about what I can get myself into. So I would love to experience CariWest. How would you describe it to me? What am I missing on?
Well, you're missing out on a lot, but so are a number of people. So, you know, as much as we've been around and are well known, there is a big chunk of people that aren't familiar with our festival. So happy to share whenever we can. So our festival is a 3-day festival. It's a Caribbean festival that takes place in August. So this year it'll be August 7th, 8th, and 9th. And really you're immersing yourself in the Caribbean culture. So it's everything from the music and the food and the costumes and, you know, the live entertainment that will be on and happening all 3 days. There's really something for everybody. And there's always something that brings everybody back. Everybody has their day that they like and their element of the festival, you know, whether it be the parade on Saturday, or Friday.
There is a parade?
There is a parade.
Okay, tell me about the parade. Where does it start? Where does it go?
You know, the parade is what we're really known for.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people think that that is all that we do for our festival. They don't realize that it is 3 days. But the parade is probably the signature element of the 3 days. So it happens on the Saturday. Always starts at noon, takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to travel down Jasper and get to its final destination, which is Churchill. Our parade is made up of what we call bands, which are really just, you know, the different groups that are in the parade, and they're wearing costumes. Each band will have a theme that they're portraying through, you know, the colors and elements of their costumes. They're dancing to music as they're traveling down the street, and, you know, I can tell you it's very infectious to all of the festival goers that are watching the parade. Everybody's tapping their feet. I think my favorite part is seeing the patrons watching and just seeing the energy that beams out of them, and how they just get wrapped up in how we're feeling out on the street. And you never want it to end, but it does. It has to end. It has to come to an end. But then there's always next year.
So I'd love to hear the history of CariWest. I know we spoke about it a little bit, that it's about 42 years old. It's like several decades. How did it get started?
Oh, okay, so yeah, it essentially was started back in '84, and started by, you know, first generations that were coming to Edmonton from the Caribbean islands, and it was a means for them to keep the culture alive here in this new city that they were all in. So a way to hang on to, you know, where they came from. I know my parents were one of those people, but the main founder was a gentleman by the name of Cecil George. So it's pretty cool. We get to work with his daughters today.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're both artists themselves, and so they pretty much are in the festival every year. So that's always great for them, you know, to be a part of the festival. And they've both been on the board. Actually, one of them is currently on the board as well right now.
How would you say the vision of CariWest has evolved over the years, from what it was originally to now in 2026?
Oh, wow. Geez. I mean, I would love to have been like a fly on the wall when they started their planning, you know, all those years ago.
Especially for the first year, right?
Yeah, like just wondering what they would have envisioned, you know, 42 years later. I mean, it's grown in size, number one. First and foremost, it's grown in size for sure. We've had an expansion of cultures colliding, I would say. So I think, I mean, I know I was young, but I do remember it being more of a Caribbean kind of, I don't know, let's say only, but I felt like it was more of a Caribbean only festival. I do feel that today, and I think this goes back probably even about 15 years ago, I do feel like it's embraced a lot more cultures into the celebration. I think people understand that it's not a siloed festival, and that it is for everybody to enjoy, and that we want everybody to enjoy. And Edmonton, we are a festival city, but we are a very cultural city as well. So I think that's another reason why it's been so successful here in Edmonton.
I would love to hear from you. You have a full-time job and you're helping making sure the festival happens, you know, 2026, making sure that it's continuing to grow, get recognition, get vendors. How do you balance like your personal life while also devoting your time and energy to the festival?
Well, you know, I think one of the reasons that I've been able to stay on the board this long while, still juggling my other job, is that you know, our festival starts in August, and a lot of the work really happens, you know, the 2 to 3 months leading up, all the kind of heavy lifting. And with my daytime career, we tend to taper off in the summer. So it's kind of a nice little balance that I can, you know, kind of balance the two in those months leading up. I really devote time in the evenings and weekends. Like I really just try to keep it to that. I think that also helps to balance things out. And I try to, you know, set timelines early on and accomplish those things that I can in the earlier part of, you know,
like sponsorships and
sponsorships. Like we've got teams that are, you know, divided up into the different areas, and they'll take on, you know, certain elements. And so we've kind of got those, you know, checkpoints throughout the calendar year where, okay, at this point we should, you know, kind of have these things kind of checked off. We've been pretty good. Like our current board has been together, or I'd have to say 70% of the board has been together for about 7 years, which makes it easier to know each other's, you know, skills and styles. And yeah, everybody just seems to know what their role is and when they need to have things accomplished.
And Are you looking for volunteers closer to the dates, or if someone who's watching who wants to
absolutely
give their time, and maybe they don't want to be on the board, they don't want to be on the emails, but maybe just leading up to the festival, be like, hey, if on the day or the weekend before you need support, I want to come and help you.
Yeah, we definitely can use volunteers. We usually start our volunteer campaign at about beginning of April, and essentially we'll run that right up until the day of the festival. And there's lots you can do. You can be a part of the parade, which is usually the first thing that goes. Everybody wants to be a marshal in the parade. We've got site monitors that just allow you to kind of roam freely across the whole site. So there's something for everybody. Yeah. So go check it out, CariWest.ca.
Amazing, incredible. I'm curious about the costumes. Where do we get the costumes?
Oh boy, can
you tell I'm planning? I'm like, what am I going to wear? Am I going to have feathers? Many years ago, I've never talked about this on here. I don't know why, but I used to be one of the Tropicana girls.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Feathers, the sequins. Like the big, I wish I could find more photos.
You know what's up, kind of.
I kind of know what's up, but I want to it's been a long time, and it's heavy, especially the headdress.
Okay.
To and you have to walk with really good posture.
Yeah.
Because the headdress, this was and you always wanted to be the girl with the
flamboyant
yes
pieces. I would say that's a trait of our mask makers here is that our costumes are very light, right? So we do take all of that into consideration.
That's good.
Yeah, so you might see an elaborate headpiece, but no, it's not as heavy as it would look. Yeah, we try to look for the lightest material.
That's really good, because I just had flashback of memory. I mean, this is many years ago, like Canada Day and things like that. But people get so fascinated because it's a spectacle, right? You're just you can see in people's eyes, they're like, oh, wow. Because you're not just in t-shirts and jeans, you're in sequins and feathers and shiny and bright. And then when there's music, it's even more festive. What sort of feedback have you received from the city, from folks of not Caribbean heritage who attend the festival or, got to experience it or walk in the parade with the DJ and everything or try out the food? Is there anything maybe even from the recent years that stands out to you? To know that you're having this impact because you're, obviously celebrating your heritage, but also educating, right? And sharing your culture, your food, your music with the city.
I think that with each year that passes, we learn more and more about our audience, what our patrons want, what they want more of. Our Kids Zone, for example, does really, really well. We forever get compliments. The city thinks we have one of the better Kids Zone activations. I do as well. I have seen some festivals try to mimic it. We, for our 2025 festival, won an award.
Okay.
Through Edmonton Tourism.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
That's a big deal.
It is, or sorry, I should say for 2024. We've been nominated for 2025. That gets confusing in my head. So we could be a 2-time winner. So we're excited, but we are up against some, great festivals, other festivals in the city. So, I mean, even if we do lose, it'll be nice to be nominated. So that helps with our accolades as well. And the city has watched our festival grow and then watched our team grow as well in terms of how we deliver that experience to the rest of the community.
Hard to pick because it's they're all your babies. What would you say is your personal favorite part of the festival?
So I always say that the Friday night extravaganza is my favorite until Saturday morning, and then the parade's my favorite. And then I love Sunday because it's just nice and chill. But if I have to pick, honestly, it's got to be parade day. Yeah, it's got to be parade day. Like, it's just, you wake up, at like 7 a.m. and you're getting ready in your costume and with your friends and family. And, the closer you get to, the starting point, you start to hear the music and you start to see all the other patrons that are going to be in the parade. And you're excited before you even get going. And then it's over just like that. So you just try to hang on to every moment and enjoy.
Amazing. I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I feel like between the food, the music, the outfits, the parade, I'm there with you. I think I'm like visualizing the festival. I'm very excited. Fingers crossed I will be there this year. Well, thank you so much, Sam. Truly appreciate your time. Folks, if you're based in Edmonton, make sure to come out. The dates again are?
August 7th through 9th.
Okay, joining me now is the person who is behind the digital voice of the CariWest Festival, in charge of the social media content on all the platforms for the CariWest Festival. I'm so excited to be joined by Nadia Goodhart. Nadia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. We're really happy to have you here in our city, and a pleasure to talk to you about our festival.
My pleasure is all mine. You guys have me dreaming about amazing food, great music, and I think August is such a great time for this festival.
Oh yes, it is like the perfect temperature wise, because our festival is definitely like want to mimic a little bit of the how you would have it in the Caribbean. And so the hot sun, the humidity, you feel transported when you come to our festival in after the 3 days, right? So you feel like if I was to book a flight to anywhere in the Caribbean or stay here, it's the same. You have the steel drums, you have the food, you have the dancing, you have the music. Everybody in the festival always has a smile on their face. Every picture that we take, there's someone like dancing or having a good time, and you feel like immersed into that Caribbean culture without having to pay a pricey ticket for a plane ride.
Amazing. I'm curious, are you all volunteering your time because you have a job, you have a full-time job?
Yeah, the majority of us are full-time. We have our own jobs, but we do this for the love of the culture. I am first generation here. I came here to go to school at U of A. And
where did you come from?
Trinidad.
Okay.
And so I stayed here. I met my family, and you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that came here for different reasons, and we all stayed here and got being part of the festival. I was also on the board for a little bit, but right now my role is to take part in the social aspect of the festival. So all the socials, all the reels, those kind of things, that is the passion.
Fun stuff, and sharing the festival with everyone.
Yes.
So whether you're in Edmonton or not, you can see that this is what's happening. You can plan your trip to Edmonton in the summertime to come here and experience the festival. Like, I remember, I think Caravana is still going on, right? Like, I remember friends who would, plan their trip, the outfit, everything, what you're gonna do, the dance, all of that.
Yeah, so Caribana is the week before our festival, and Carnival is a global event. So you have the type of Carnival is from Trinidad. So different islands have different things. So Barbados, for example, their carnival is focused around crop over. So Trinidad Carnival, and you also have like New Orleans, they have their Mardi Gras. It's around the same time, but our festival is very similar to Trinidad, but it's not like Trinidad. So the one thing that I could tell you about our festival that differentiates from a lot of other carnivals is that we are inclusive. We have kids that are part of our festival. In the parade, you have people who are all shapes and sizes, all races. We welcome everyone. This is not just a Caribbean festival for only Caribbean people. This is a festival for everyone. So people from Edmonton, they are free to attend, they're free to join in, and that's something that makes us unique with our carnival.
What would you suggest to me? How can I best experience CariWest Festival?
So definitely, as Sam had mentioned, the parade is something that you want to experience. The best way to experience anything is to immerse yourself. So I started off as a volunteer. I did parade marshal. I picked up garbage, did everything. But when I was in the parade, I felt this freedom of like, wow, this is an experience. This is something that people go all over the world to experience. This joy, this excitement, and you see people, they wear their bikinis and whatever, and they don't care. They don't care that, you know, they're what they look like, because they look fantastic. And that's all about, like, you know, what carnival is all about. Carnival is the freedom of expression, freedom to feel that you can be who you want to without these societal norms telling you that you can't dance, you cannot say what you want to say, you have to conform. Carnival is not about that. Carnival culture is about being free to do what you want. Carnival, and especially in the parade, you feel this joy and this, like, the rhythms are hitting you, and you're like, even me, I'm taking pictures of people and I'm stomping my feet, I'm moving, I'm like dancing
along.
You
can't help but move. You have no choice but to move.
And sometimes we see the footage of people on the parade, and the little kids are just dancing. They have their whistles, they have their flags, and you see people who have not been around for the whole year, and they come out to see the parade. You see flags from every nation along the streets. They're waving it. You know, it doesn't have to just be Canadian. There is like people from Africa, there's people from the Caribbean, there's people from Europe. They're all having fun, because Carnival is not just synonymous with the Caribbean. Carnival is a global event.
And they also in Brazil as well.
Yes, Brazil has the largest carnival in the world. Trinidad, second. And Trinidad is so much smaller than Brazil.
Do you sometimes go back just to get inspired and be like, I want to bring a taste of this? Okay, I like what this is working over here. Let's see if I can talk to the team and see if we can infuse some of this flavor.
Yeah, so
you're like, can this be part of my R&D? Like, can these flights be covered from here?
It is expensive to travel. However, Carnival in the Caribbean and in most places are centered around a French culture. So the Europeans, the French who came to the Caribbean as colonizers, they brought the Carnival. And so it's all around the Catholic Church Lenten season. So the Fat Tuesday, as you hear in New Orleans, that is what we do. We celebrate, we eat the fat, we do all the things, and then Ash Wednesday we repent. So this Monday and Tuesday usually falls in February or March in the calendar year. Well, February and March in here is brutally cold. So a lot of people from here will actually go down and play Carnival in the Caribbean. And then they come back here with like ideas. They will come back with different music that's happening. I listen to soca music year round, so I know all the songs that are playing. I'm there to put it on our reels for, like, you know, get people hyped up of, like, you know, what's new, what's interesting. And of course, like, as Sam said, like, this is not just a few months in planning. This is year-round planning. So a lot of the masquerade bands that participate, they spend a lot of time making costumes. There's one band right now, they've already made all their headpieces. Wow. Because it takes so long, right? And we're getting ready for a mass band launch coming up in May. So a mass band launch means each of the masquerade bands, they'll bring out what kind of costumes they're going to be wearing. And so you as a participant who are just attending this, they could say, oh, I really like those purple ones, or I really like this gold and black or whatever. And then you can say, okay, I want to actually wear that costume. There are some people who say, I am only going with this band, I am loyal to this band, but it's really up to you to choose what you want to wear. And, you know, what I always say to people who have never been in the festival, it doesn't matter what costume you wear, they will make it fit to you. You give them your size, your dimensions and whatever, and you say, hey, you know, I have a little bit of stretch marks on my belly. I don't really want that showing. That's fine. They'll make something so that they hide whatever you don't want to be seen. They'll make sure that the costumes look incredible on you. And they want to make sure that you're happy with it. And it takes a very long time to get all those pieces together. They have the tops, the bottoms, the arm pieces, the leg pieces, the head pieces, the neck pieces.
I forgot about the arm pieces. Yeah, because you do the hand. Yeah.
So it's a lot of work and a lot of time that goes into it. And all these masquerade bands, they all have full-time jobs as well. So they're all doing it for volunteer hours. They all, of course, they charge an amount for these costumes because they have to recoup their costs. Of course. It is so nice to see the end product on the day off, right?
How do you feel being involved in the festival for the last 10 years has helped shape you as a person? Because I feel like when you give time to something, when you're devoted, especially for that amount of time, you're obviously first of all, getting something from it, and I can hear your passion, and B, you see the growth inside of you. So I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. So for me, it's about, I want to see the festival grow. I want to be able to provide a legacy for my kids. I have 3 kids. They don't look like me. They are mixed kids, and which is very representative of Edmonton, I would say. And I want them to be a part of this festival. So everything I think about when I think about how to grow this festival, who would be interested, I think of my kids. They're the ones that are probably going to be me in like 10 years or 20 years or whatever, right? Just like how Sam, she was a kid when she started, and it was her parents that were leading the whole festival and growing the festival. I see my part as like, I'm doing something today so I can leave it for my kids so that they can take over if they wanted to. And we have one of our mass bands, they're called Next Generation Mass Bands. They've had their kids make costumes since they were little. Now their kids are in the big giant kings and queen costumes because they've grown up with this. And so they're now part of the making the costumes.
I need to see these kings and queens costumes. I need to see this. I need to visually reference, but I know you're going to share the photos and the videos with us because talking to you, talking about the festival, it's getting me really, truly, truly excited. When you talk about the aunties and the food, the music, it's the drums, like for me, it's like anytime, like when you think, it's like weddings, you know, it's like there will always be someone, like even at the game, for example, yesterday, there's a few Indigenous guys who have their drums and they're riling up the crowd, and I'm hoping to connect with them. Lance does know a few of them. There's something so special, I feel like, about drums because it just connects you so much. It's so primal. And like I have these early childhood memories where, like, you know, some uncle would like sit there on the ground and this is how, and he would have like a spoon and he's just going on the drums and then everyone starts gathering around him and, you know, at the wedding, and this is how it's celebration of life and you're making music.
Exactly. And so the Caribbean is known for the steel drums, and this is a percussion instrument. But if you look at when people sit down at a bar, they're knocking a ball and spoon, they're beating the drum,
Yes.
they have a cane. There's a lot of East Indian instruments that are part of our drumming. It's not, you have like the dolak and the gantal and all those things. And it's very like, drumming is a part of the way of our oral tradition from the Caribbean. We have a lot of African drummers here as well as that come to our festival. And you can tell like the rhythm of drumming spans generations. It spans cultures because everybody can get to this like beat that it connects all of us. And it doesn't matter what the drum is, you know that you're connected somehow.
100%.
And we are part of slavery. That the Caribbean is a big part of, slavery is a big part of the Caribbean. And a lot of the times, the slaves couldn't speak the language, right? They couldn't speak their African native tongue, so they spoke in drums. They spoke in, the different ways that they could do things. Like there's bamboo stalks that they would knock, and they would make percussion from that. They would, they would tell their stories, but in different ways, like through Anansi stories. And a lot of that has like traveled through the Caribbean as a thread that kind of binds us all. So I'm not of African descent, but I know my family came as indentured servants. And so we're all connected. And Carnival is something that has connected us as a Caribbean as a whole. And we don't ever feel like, well, you're doing a Trinidad Carnival, Jamaica can't take part. Like Jamaica's in there too, right? Like, and so we all feel like, the music is what connects us, the food is what connects us, and we have this shared kind of belonging when we are here in Edmonton, because we're all immigrants or, second generation. We're all here on Indigenous land, and we're here to make ourselves feel at home. And I know that when we think about our future generations, this is what we want for them.
Thank you so much. That is very well said.
Welcome.
Well, thank you, Nadia. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming by today and for sharing your love for your culture, as well as your love and passion for sharing it with everyone else. I'm truly hoping to join you in August. So the dates, once again, are August 7th,
8th, and 9th.
Wonderful.
This year. And we definitely hope to see you. And if you definitely want a costume, you ask me. We can hook you up.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited, you guys. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I'm your host, Zara Durrani. The show is called On Location, and today we're here in Edmonton, Alberta. So excited to bring you stories from Edmonton, brought to you with the support of TELUS STORYHIVE. Make sure if you are in Edmonton or planning a trip here, align it with the CariWest Festival taking place in August 7th to the 9th. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for joining us for this episode of On Location Vancouver. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please scan the QR code and someone from our team will be in touch. We'll see you soon.